Hello, and here I am with the Mad Magazine card game. My last video around Mad Magazine was focused on the unboxing, unpacking of the Mad trading cards from Lime Rock. I just got this very recently in the mail. I just picked it up off eBay. There's lots of these available, and this is the Mad Magazine card game. This is the second Mad game that I've purchased. The first one being the board game, which I've played several times now and is truly a lot of fun to play. And I'll make a video all about that one too, hopefully fairly soon. I got to figure out a camera situation though, because I hardly have room on screen for this, so I just had to figure out how I'd set it up. But anyway, so opening the box, this is like a complete set. It's in a little kind of shabby condition, but I don't mind because I want to play it. And so if it were in perfect condition, I might become a little less likely to actually break it out. So here we go, the instructions here. Let it be known that whoever plays this game is not playing with a full deck. Now, shouldn't it be whomever? Well, I don't know. They're idiots, the people who run Mad. All right, it's not playing with a full deck. And then you follow the asterisks. Oh, here's the missing card. Old Maid. And so there's this lovely Alfred E. Neuman as an old maid. So it's for 2 to 6 players, ages 8 to adult. The object to be the first player to get rid of all of your cards. Object is very similar to, I don't know, a lot of card games. I mean, I feel like that's sort of like the object of Gin, to get rid of your cards. I think there's a few others. But also, it's the object of the Mad board game to get rid of all of your money. So, 76 cards, 76 cards, 76 cards, 76 cards, one tray. Spread out all the cards and look at them. You will find 78 suits. So I'm actually going to do that now, and I'm going to kind of go through and show these off a little bit as I go. So I'll read this, and you can look at the lovely cards. So here's that tray right there. And just if you want to take a look, these are really beautiful cards, man. Like, Mad has always done, in my opinion, a fantastic job at design. They're a humor magazine, but there's been lots of humor magazines. National Lampoon, Cracked, Plop. But Mad Magazine, even though there are people, I think, that kind of went back and forth between some of those magazines, none of them matched Mad Magazine in this type of design. This looks beautiful, and I think it's evidence. Maybe I'll move this over here by other things like in the early 20s issues numbered in the early 20s. There was this awesome border around the Mad magazines, and that looked just perfect. If we look at the Mad logo with the ladies chasing the centaurs, again, just like beautiful design. Those are the ones that just come to mind immediately, but there's many, many, many more examples of just their superb design. And let's get going. So they have, we start off with, I've already gone through these and looked through them, and you'll notice that there are 4 blank cards. And so it actually says, 4 blank cards. These cards are not part of the game. Remove them immediately. Use them instead as floor tiles or coasters. So, I haven't read through the rules yet, but I'm glad that this person kept these. I wonder if these would be amusing for like somebody, like a magician, I know they have like trick cards and all that stuff. But so we have those, the blank cards. Now, next up are the suit cards. So the suit cards are divided into color. We have yellow, and holding these upside down. We have yellow, which is a guy in a spacesuit. We have blue, which is a guy in a spacesuit. Alfred E. Newman in a spacesuit. There is Alfred E. Newman in armor, like knight's armor. And then there is Alfred E. Newman in a leisure suit, which I don't know why. I feel like this is very reminiscent of a drawing of Frank Jacobs. I think in like one of like the song books, Frank Jacobs is drawn almost identical to this, with like the leisure suit with the giant collar. And then finally, we have him in a union suit, the long underwear. And so all of these are numbered 1 to 6, and there are 2 of each card. So there's, he's fully dressed. It starts falling apart at 2, 3. I mean, it's in grave disrepair. 4, his keister's showing. 5, I mean, there's hardly anything left other than 6. That's hilarious. That was a convincing statement. The Frank Jacobs one, we got the 1. He's just standing there. He's got an egg coming towards him. Oh, he's got 1 egg coming towards him. Then he has 2 more things flying at him, like just some mush and another egg. What else? Number 4, he's got some lettuce flying by, and then a soda can, a hand grenade, a chicken, tomato, and a can of soda. And then, then it just gets the fish bones. I don't know. That always gets me. That always makes me laugh. A book, a stick of dynamite, some dice with snake eyes. The armor. This is kind of amusing. He just starts getting split into parts. So lost his leg, lost both legs and the arm. Lost nothing new, but he's floating farther apart. Lost all of his limbs, and then finally he's lost his head. I like that one a lot. This one, though, yellow, is by far my favorite. I like it because the other ones, it's like very clear which side's up, but this one it becomes less and less clear. So we have him floating there. I guess you can imagine looking out the window of a spaceship. They don't typically have rectangular windows, but kind of see he's unplugged, floating towards the sun. Wait, no, I guess if he's rotating clockwise. Oh, there we go. So anyway, he rotates. Oh, this one he has to be fully upside down. Oh, I'm figuring it out now. I'm so smart. And then finally, he's pretty far off in the distance. I really like this one. I think that one's definitely my favorite. So those are all of the suit cards right there, all lined up, nice and neat. Now, after that, there are additionally the give someone 2 cards. There are 4 give someone 2 cards, and these match the colors of the suit. So we have the red, the green, the blue, and the yellow. There's really no way to discern them other than that. And for most of these other cards, it's the same pattern. So this is draw one, you varmints. It's just like lovely Alfred E. Newman as a cowboy. And again, red, green, blue, yellow. And then there's the... Oh, I'm out of order. What happened here? The which way cards, which I guess would be sort of like Uno reverse in a way. And so you have 2 of each color. So you have the 2 reds, the 2 greens, 2 blues, and 2 yellows. And these ones are very reminiscent of the like the classic royalty cards, the king in the what do you call it? Just normal deck of cards, I guess, would be what I'm talking about. And it also, you know, it reminds, there's this really awesome Mad cover where he's painting the King of Hearts or something, and the king has to flip over so he can finish the painting. Anyway, then there are these, there are some wild cards. So there are 4 wild cards. You can see they're just, it's wild. So there's 4 of those, and then there are 3 wild and woolly cards. So choose someone to draw 3 cards. The wild is choose any color. So this is benefits you, and this one is for the detriment of one of your opponents. Then what do we got next? Oh, the exchange or the and or wilds. So there are 5 different and or wild cards. The first type is the exchange. Exchange your hand with anyone, and or wild. So you can treat this as the kind of wild, change the color one, or switch your hand completely with somebody else. Again, that's sort of, it reminds me of the board game where you could just exchange money with somebody else. The next one is the Joker and or wild. You may use this card to end the game. Probably why there's only one of them. And then what me worry, you worry. After all, this is a self-defense card. I don't really know what this card does. Hopefully, I'm assuming that we'll get an explanation in the rules. So when you set up, from among the assembled crazies, choose dealer. The dealer shuffles all the cards and deals 8 cards face down to each player. That is, if there are 2, 3, or 4 players. If there are more, everyone gets only 7 cards. Because this is a game up to, what is it? 6, wait, up to 6 players? Oh yeah, so up to 4 is the same amount, up to 6 it's 1 fewer. The dealer places the rest of the draw cards face down into the notched pile, or into the notched one. So that's right there, so you can actually draw them out. This is the discard pile. Each player, the dealer turns over the draw pile's top card and places it face up into the other side of the tray. This card starts the discard pile. Each player picks up his or her cards and organizes them by color. The first to play is the player to the dealer's right. Till further notice, play then proceeds in turn to that player's right. So we're going counterclockwise, not the normal, obviously. Before trying to play, please read all the way through the following rules. You know what though? They're not being very silly. In the game, the board game, it's like the rules are just filled with jokes. On your turn, try to get rid of a card. A, if you can get rid of a card, place it face up on the discard pile. If you can't get rid of a card, take the draw pile's top card and look at it. Can you get rid of that card? If so, place it face up onto the discard pile. If not, add it to your hand. Whether or not you're able to get rid of a card, your turn ends. How to get rid of a card. If a card isn't wild, you may place it onto another card of the same color, number, picture, or message. Examples, green number 5 can go on any green card or any number 5 card. Place a yellow which way card onto a yellow card or onto a which way card of any color. And a wild card on any card in the deck. By wild card, we mean any card with the word wild on it. Examples, because this rule is so simple, we have determined no examples are necessary. Very good. Now we get some humor. All right, so this is very, very similar to Uno. I think this is Uno, basically. It's just rebranded Uno. Okay, so more about the cards. Which way? By playing one of these cards, you get to choose the direction of play. If you want to change the direction of play, that's okay. So that's the reverse, basically. Draw one, you varmints. By playing one of these cards, you force each of your opponents in turn to draw one card from the... Oh, so everybody draws a card. Give someone 2 cards from your hand. If playing this card leaves you with fewer than 2 cards in your hand, that's okay. In fact, that's great. The fewer cards you have to get rid of, the better off you are. Wild cards, as mentioned already, a wild card is any card with the word wild on it. Whenever you place a wild card of any kind, you must announce the color that you want it to be. Just name the color, red, yellow, green, or blue. Even if you want it to be the same color as the card you're covering, you'll usually do best to name the color in which you have the most cards. The next player must then play either a card of the same color or another wild card of any kind. And or wild. Each of these cards is always a wild and therefore requires you... All right, so this is where it gets, I think, somewhat, well, more interesting. Not somewhat more interesting, definitely more interesting. So all of these cards, I think, are very self-explanatory. What kind of gets a little more bizarre, well, those are self-explanatory too. They're not part of the game. Are these and or wild cards. So this is sort of what I want to read about now, especially that defense card. All right, and here it is. What me worry, you worry. This card tells you it's a self-defense card. Here is how it works. Here's what it looks like. Oh my God, I'm almost certain that this is another Frank Jacobs picture too. I'm going to, at the end of this video, I'm going to go find out because I know I got that. I can get that really quickly. All right, so it's a self-defense. Here's how it works. Let's say an opponent plays and exchange your hand with any one card and chooses you to exchange with. By immediately playing this card, you prevent the exchange. You also get to choose this wild card's colors. Against any other card, this card allows you to do to an opponent exactly what he or she tried to do to you. Examples: suppose an opponent plays a wild and woolly card and announces that you are the one who must draw 3 cards. By playing what me worry, no you worry, you get to, they draw the 3 cards. So that is pretty cool. I like that. Suppose someone draws a draw 1 you varmints card. By immediately playing it, you no longer have to draw a card, but everyone else at the table has to draw. All right. That's awesome. The Joker, you may play this card only on your regular turn, yet you may play it one of 2 ways. It's a wild card, therefore at any time during the game you may, if you wish, play this card just as you would play any other wild card. In other words, you may play it onto any card in the deck and then announce the color you want it to be. However, you have only 1, 2, or 3 other cards in your hand. You may, if you wish, play this card and announce the game is over. When this happens, everyone counts up the points in his or her hand. If you have fewer points than any of your opponents, you win. Otherwise, the winner is whoever has the fewest points. Points are easy to figure. Each number card counts as its number. Every other card counts 5 points. Winning. Unless you do yourself in with the Joker, you win the game if you're the first player to get rid of all the cards. As you know, special notes, as you know, the dealer starts the discard pile by turning over the draw pile's top card. No matter what this card turns out to be, the dealer treats it as though he or she had played it by choice. If it's a plain old suit card, does nothing, passes to his or her right. If it's a which way, the dealer must choose the direction. If it's a wild, must choose the color. If it's a wild draw, they have to make the choice. If it's a varmints card, the dealer is lucky and everybody else has to draw. Recycling the draw pile. If the draw pile runs out, the dealer takes the top card from the discard pile and places it aside, shuffles the discard pile, returns it face down to the notch side of the tray. All right. Ooh, halves, twos, and wants to. Drawing and discarding, I feel like that's pretty straightforward. Let's say that your turn comes. Do you have a card that you can get rid of? If you don't want to get rid of that card, you don't have to. However, this strategy makes sense only when you know or can guess exactly which cards the next player holds. That's all, folks. So here we go. I mean, it really is like Uno. it's I can't wait to play this. Like I am glad that it's similar to Uno because I got kids, and the one who is at that age that where they can play card games. It's I think this is probably a good way to start. I'm going to play these, but I do want to keep them in somewhat good condition. So I'm going to try to find card sleeves for them. And something that I noticed, and I mean, it was immediately apparent when you hold them in your hand, is that these are not the same size as standard cards. So if we look at this, you can see it's like about, I don't know, 5 or 6 millimeters narrower, but it is the same height. So I don't know, I might have to check into some card sleeves or something. But I think this is great. Maybe I'll do a little review of it after I've played it. But as far as that goes, I am done with this video. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, I don't know, subscribe, I guess. I do like mostly video game stuff, but I'm thinking about doing more of this Mad Magazine type stuff because I have a bunch of magazines and I have a bunch of memorabilia and all sorts of stuff. So maybe it's something I'll do a little bit more of if people want it. So anyway, toodaloo.